If you have these antique items hiding in your attic, they could be worth an absolute fortune. But before we dive into this treasure hunt, please give this video a like and make sure to subscribe to the Inspired Inkwell. Hit that bell icon so you never miss our uploads. Over the years, we all accumulate stuff. Some items hold sentimental value, so we tuck them away in our attics, where they're quickly forgotten. But here's the thing, some of the most common household items are actually worth big money today. With that in mind, here are 40 valuable antiques to search for in your home right now. Number 40, vintage computers. Nowadays, your smartphone has more computing power than old desktop computers. That's probably why your vintage computer is collecting dust upstairs. But if that device is seriously old school, it could be incredibly valuable. Appraiser Eric Silver told Popular Mechanics that a first edition Apple computer sold for a whopping $900,000 at auction. Now that's an extreme example, but even lesser-known vintage computers from the 1980s can fetch thousands. Pro tip, look for original packaging, manuals, and working condition to maximize value. Number 39, costume jewelry. You might think only real gold or genuine gemstones have resale value. Think again. Specific pieces of costume jewelry have sold for thousands at auction, just as much as their precious counterparts. Here's what to look for. Pieces made by sought-after designers like Miriam Haskell, Elsa Schiaparelli, or Coco Chanel. These designer names can turn a $5 garage sale find into a $1,000 payday. Number 38. Vintage lunchboxes. Maybe a sentimental parent held on to your childhood lunchbox, and now it sits forgotten in storage. But if that container features a desirable design, think Beatles, Jetsons, or Superman, you need to dust it off immediately. Some collectible lunchboxes have sold for over $3,000. The key is iconic imagery and good condition. Number 37. Cookie jars. Not just any cookie jar will sell in today's market, but if you have pieces made in the 1940s or 1950s, you could be in luck. Collectors especially want cookie containers shaped like well-known characters or cartoon figures. A Mickey Mouse or Aunt Jemima cookie jar could earn you several $100s. Number 36. Vintage postcards. Did someone in your family have a famous pen pal? You may want to check those old letters, because correspondence from well-known figures can bring in serious money. Even regular vintage postcards attract collectors, especially ones sent before World War I. The better the condition, the higher the price. Some rare postcards have sold for over $500 each.
Number 35. Yo-yo quilt. Back in the 1930s, quilters began cutting circles of fabric and hand-sewing them together. This unique pattern earned its name from the popular yo-yo toy of the era. If you have a hand-stitched, colorful yo-yo quilt in your attic, you could earn close to $300, sometimes much more for exceptional examples. Number 34. Stetson cowboy hats. The first cowboy hat was created in the 1860s by designer John Batterson Stetson. His design served dual purposes, shading cowboys' faces from sun and, when flipped over, providing a water vessel for both rider and horse. An original boxed vintage Stetson can sell for hundreds of dollars. Look for the authentic Stetson label and original condition. Number 33. Christmas ornaments. Christmas decorations can be tough to part with emotionally, but you might reconsider if you have hand-blown glass ornaments lying around. Vintage glass baubles sell for nearly $2,000 a piece. You're in even more luck if you have a pear-shaped kugel ornament. Some sell for as much as $18,000 each. The German-made kugel ornaments from the 1800s are the real goldmine here. Number 32. Polaroid cameras. Log on to Instagram and you'll see countless photos filtered to achieve that perfect vintage look. This trend explains why people are buying Polaroid cameras again. They produce physical photos with that cool retro effect naturally. You could sell that Polaroid gathering dust in your attic for upwards of $500, depending on the model and included accessories. Number 31. Arcade games. Back in the day, you may have been lucky enough to own a Pac-Man or Pong arcade game. If so, that collectible could be worth serious money now. Whether it works or not doesn't matter initially. Collectors love these retro entertainment devices. However, functioning games bring much more money than broken ones. A working Pong machine can net you nearly $2,000. Number 30. Old paintings. It can be challenging to determine if that dusty painting in your attic has high market value. Experts suggest bringing artwork to professional appraisers. Your hand-me-downs could have come from a family member's friend who became famous later. Consequently, your piece could be a huge moneymaker today.
Even unknown artists from certain periods can be valuable, so don't dismiss anything without professional evaluation. Number 29. Vintage advertisements. Today's decorators love vintage ads, especially from companies that still exist, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Ford Motor Company. Rifle through your attic for such advertising memorabilia. Old Coca-Cola merchandise has sold for up to $15,000. Look for metal signs, cardboard displays, and promotional items in good condition. Number 28. Fine silverware. It's common for families to pass valuable silverware through generations, especially when it's made from real silver. You could be sitting on a literal silver mine if you have vintage sets, particularly from well-known brands like Tiffany, Gorham, or Reed & Barton. Think $1,000 or more for complete collections in good condition. Number 27. First edition books. Maybe you inherited old books or bought aged copies at thrift stores. Either way, you might have extremely valuable first editions in your collection. First prints of popular titles or classic literature from the 1930s, 40s, or 50s can bring $15,000 or more if you're lucky. Condition is crucial. Look for dust jackets and minimal wear for maximum value. Number 26. Vinyl records. Vintage vinyl can be worth serious money, especially first pressings of popular albums. Every record collection differs in size and quality, both musically and physically. Websites like Discogs or Reverb LP can help you gauge your collection's market value. Some rare albums have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Number 25. Record players. Since vinyl records are experiencing a comeback among music lovers both young and old, record players are also in demand. Vintage equipment particularly attracts customers. Even relatively common models like the RCA Victor Slide-O-Matic can bring in $130. Number 24. Air Jordan sneakers. In the world of collectible footwear, certain Air Jordans qualify as antique. Rain Hirsch, an appraiser on PBS's Antiques Roadshow, explains this phenomenon. Early Air Jordan sneakers can sell for hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, depending on the specific model and condition. Original boxes and unworn condition dramatically increase value. Number 23. Vintage toasters. Modern brands like Smeg sell vintage-inspired toasters in rainbow pastel colors. But if you have a genuine old-school appliance in similar shades, it could sell just as quickly for great money. Mid-century modern appliances are particularly sought after by design enthusiasts. Number 22. Cereal boxes. If there's an old cereal box in your attic, you probably shouldn't eat the contents. But you can sell the well-preserved packaging. There's an entire audience of collectors ready to buy vintage cereal containers, especially from iconic or now defunct brands. Look for colorful graphics and intact condition for best results. Number 21. Lamp bases. When selling old lamps, you don't need the entire fixture. Antique bases from quality brands can command serious money. Search for pieces from makers like Tiffany, Handel, or Fulper. Some such antiques have sold for $25,000. Number 20. Baseball cards. Whether you or your parents stockpiled baseball cards, you might be very happy you held on to them. Cards from decades prior to 1950 can bring serious cash, depending on demand for featured players. Collectors also seek cigarette cards from the early 1900s, so check what you have stored away. Number 19. Documents and yearbooks. Who would think a box of old documents could be a goldmine? Well, consider this. Your parents or grandparents might have had famous classmates. A celebrity's signature in a yearbook could sell for big money. The same applies to old land deeds. Your property might have had a well-known previous owner. Pore over such files carefully and research any interesting names you find. Number 18. VHS tapes. VHS tapes dominated home movie markets from the late 1970s until DVDs took over around 2000. Some movies never received DVD releases, making their VHS versions highly coveted. Banned or controversial films are especially valuable. In rare cases, certain VHS tapes have sold for up to $50,000, though this is exceptionally uncommon. Number 17. Musical instruments. Well-preserved instruments are generally big moneymakers when resold, whether antique or not. Guitars are especially worth examining. A barely used instrument from 60 or 70 years ago can be extremely valuable to collectors and musicians. Playability and original parts significantly affect value. Number 16. Belt buckles. Apparently, remnants of the Old West bring big money from collectors. Analyze any cowboy-inspired gear your family accumulated. You might have a sterling silver belt buckle hidden away. Even newer Western buckles can earn $500 at auction. Number 15. Vintage magazines. Vintage magazines don't need to be centuries old to attract collectors. Value relates to rarity, condition, and issue significance. You're especially lucky if you have publications depicting historic events on their covers. A 1969 Time magazine about Woodstock sold for $113 recently. Number 14. Pedal cars. Step aside, Fisher-Price. Vintage pedal cars carry serious weight at antique auctions. Buyers look for older models in good condition. For example, a 1930 Lincoln pedal car is valued around $1,000.
Number 13. Fountain pens. When it comes to valuable pens, we're not discussing random ballpoints from your desk drawer. Vintage fountain pens or writing implements with notable histories, say a politician used one to sign important documents, perform well at auction. Look for names like Mont Blanc, Parker, or Waterman. Number 12. Vintage t-shirts. Plenty of new shirts are designed to look vintage, but that's not where the money is. Genuine retro pieces featuring old advertisements, concert tours, beloved brands, or eye-catching art inspire vintage shoppers to spend big. Individual t-shirts have sold for over $300, particularly those with musical artist prints. Number 11. Halloween costumes. Vintage costume and mask sets can generate income, though they won't bring as much as other items on this list. If they feature characters from famous movies, think original Star Wars, you could be in luck. Old-school Halloween decorations might also interest buyers, if you're willing to part with nostalgic items. Number 10. Typewriters. We all love that distinctive tap-tap-tap sound vintage typewriters make, but you might prefer the sound of cash when you bring yours to auction. Collectors spend more on colorful pieces since black typewriters are common. Fewer scratches or dents mean better sale prices. Number 9. Depression glass. During the Great Depression, food manufacturers included glassware pieces in product boxes as purchase incentives. Families across the U.S. and Canada filled cabinets with these colorful items, now known as Depression glass. Your hand-me-downs should sell for $30 to $75 a piece. Not bad if you have multiple pieces. Number 8. Piggy banks. Could you fill your vintage piggy bank with $2,500? That's potentially what the one in your attic is worth. There's an entire group called the Mechanical Bank Collectors of America that has sought such items since the late 1950s. Older piggy banks with mechanical features tend to command higher prices.
Number 7. Luggage sets. There's something romantic about old luggage, even if you prefer modern rolling bags for actual travel. That's why collectors seek vintage luggage sets, especially ones with attractive finishes and great condition. A complete matching set brings more money than individual pieces. Number 6. Perfume bottles. In perfume antiques, brand names don't matter as much as you'd think. Collectors care more about the bottles themselves, especially the glass maker and glass type used. There's such demand for these delicate containers that specialized perfume bottle auctions exist. Number 5. Barbie dolls. Barbies have long been favorite playthings, but collectors care most about the doll who started it all, the first edition Barbie. If you have one in your attic, especially still in her original box with accessories, you could hit the jackpot. Some such toys have sold for $10,000. Number 4. Auto parts. With vintage cars, antique collectors aren't seeking entire vehicles. Instead, they want smaller parts like hubcaps or hood ornaments you've managed to save. Industrial design enthusiasts often convert larger pieces like headlamps into home decor. Even seemingly mundane car parts can bring surprising money. Number 3. Art prints. Paintings get attention, but prints can also perform well at antique auctions. Check if your old prints have penciled signatures from artists. That indicates limited edition numbered prints worth more than average copies. Original artist signatures significantly increase value. Number 2. Vintage tools. Whether stored in attics, garages, basements, or sheds, it's worth digging up vintage tools to assess their value. Items like saws or hand drills, however simple or weathered they appear, can be extremely valuable to collectors. How does $3,000 for that rusty tool sound? Number 1. Firecrackers. Remarkably, that ancient box of firecrackers in your attic could be worth something at auction. There's an entire network of collectors seeking these sparklers, specifically ones still in original packaging. The colorful logos and designs are what they really want to collect. Important disclaimers. Remember, these are exceptional examples. Most items won't reach these high values, and condition is absolutely crucial for any collectible. Before getting too excited, have valuable items professionally appraised. Authentication is key in the antiques world. Do your homework! Check completed sales on eBay, consult price guides, and connect with collector communities before selling. While these stories are true, finding extremely valuable items is rare, but hey, you never know what treasures might be hiding in your attic. What did you think of our list? Have you found any valuable antiques in your home? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more treasure hunting tips.